Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again. It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you. Don't forget to subscribe, like the button, share it around, do what you're supposed to do. I know. I try to make things nice and serious for serious topics like today. Today is a very weird one. I mean, capital W on that weird. Weird, if you know what I mean. We're talking about CERN. If you don't know what CERN is, it's the European Center for Nuclear Research. It's where they bang the atoms together and they smash them. Where they're, opening portals and dimensions, like literally, and creating black holes, and creating antimatter, and storing it, and recently transporting it from one place to another. Really safe stuff. Okay, I did a video called CERN is the Tower of Babel. I'm not saying it is the Tower of Babel, but I talk about CERN and I talk about some interesting things. I'll link it at the end of the video. So if you don't know much about CERN and you're into all that stuff that's found in the scriptures, check it out. But today's show is not about that. It's really about the occult. It's about the new world order, if you will. It's not a conspiracy, people. It's all over the place. While people are saying that it's a conspiracy to say that, organizations like the European Center for Nuclear Research and more is connected to the occult and possible, what people would call witchcraft, and other people would say like dealing with demons and all that stuff. I'm not saying any of that stuff at all. I'm not saying that they're into the occult at all. I'm not saying that the reason they hired this artist as a resident was the fact that a body of her work is like straight out of the Illuminati textbook. We're going to be talking about CERN today. And we're going to be talking about how we have all been enslaved. So I hope that you are buckled up, and I hope that your baggage is not just stowed, but I hope that you've gotten rid of it, because, the past doesn't exist anymore. We're about living in the moment. So enjoy this ride into the realm of weird as we tear apart CERN's new pick, the time-traveling, that's right, artist. I'm not going to take the time in this video to show you all of the stuff. Everywhere we're ruled by symbolism. Actually, okay, I'll take a second. And before we get into the video, the March for Lives, the organization that where all the students are taken to the streets everywhere, and these high school students organizing these huge hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cost and effort and people and appearances, and they all did that on their own. Right? That's what you'd like to think, but it's not true. A lot of organizations behind them. Now, I had this conversation at the table when we were having dinner. Hey, that's funny, right? My family, we eat dinner as a family. It's an important thing. They're trying to break up the family unit, people. And when they break up the family unit, you start to buy into the lie that husband and wife doesn't matter anymore, and that, a stable home for your child to grow up in, that a child doesn't deserve a father and a mother. You've been lied to. Don't let the media convince you that you'll be happier elsewhere and that you'll be happier with someone else. If you have a family, choose today to embrace it and enrich it and grow it like I've done, and it works. And I actually like my family. Like, I really do. I love them. And my wife, Danielle, we're a happy, but were we always that way? No, we went through hard times too. But today, everything's about keeping these children so ignorant so that they can be slaves, and that's exactly what that's what they've become. That's what we all become. They just basically believe whatever they're told, and they actually think that they're doing something that's very positive. And you know what? My heart goes out to them, because what they are doing, and their heart is in the right place, it is positive. But yet, here's why you'll see the evil eye for the March for Our Lives. Yeah, that was their symbol. See, everything's about symbolism today. They call it the evil eye, and they came up with some reason as to why, it's hands up, don't shoot, and it's a protection spell against bullets and stuff like that. But really, as I was talking to my family at dinner, I said, guys, it's going to come out. It's going to come out. You're going to see that this is an organized thing, that this is backed by people that are not really pro-life at all. Because, I don't know if you know this, but here's some of the groups behind it. Well, MoveOn.org, right? George Soros and his cronies, they organized Black Lives Matter and other groups. They didn't fund it all. It's creating more division, and it's creating more intolerance in the name of tolerance, which is really kind of spooky. But here's some other people that have contributed. Planned Parenthood. Isn't that something? It's interesting. Now, the NRA came out and said that the March for Our Lives movement is backed by radicals with a history of violent threats, language, and actions. But I do find it interesting that the March for Our Lives has been, Planned Parenthood's part of it, But, whatever. Hey, I'm not saying anything. But I'm not saying at all that it has anything to do with the New World Order either. The fact that everybody's wearing these gloves. I mean, that's not symbolic at all, right? That's not like really right in our face. I'm not saying it's true, but it's suspect, right? They could have knit some different kind of thing. And it's also funny because it's the same, the woman who came up with this, the young woman who came up with this was the same one who did the hats with the word that I don't like to say because it's not polite, but yet, whatever. I recently stumbled upon, I love philosophy. Philosophy means the love of wisdom. And some of the great philosophers have talked about things that we talk about on a regular basis. Now, I stumbled upon a great YouTube channel called Academy of Ideas. Get a chance, check them out. Pretty big channel and very, very well done. And they basically take different philosophers and different ideas. And I believe it was this week's, it was about enslavement, which I thought was interesting because I was going to be talking about enslavement and CERN and how that we are all kind of like domesticated animals. And they brought up this wonderful philosopher, Le Boitier. Let me just read this to you. Because it talks about how you don't need to pick up anything. You don't need to fight the elite. You don't need to do anything. All we need to do is come together and say, you know what, we're not going to do it anymore. Everybody's not going to pay tax anymore. Everybody's not going to do this anymore. Just everybody comes collectively and just says, we don't like the direction that things are going. Now, this philosopher had made it very clear that regimes only stay in power as long as the majority is appreciative and happy, right? Because once the majority says we don't like it anymore, then they immediately, as Le Boitier says, become naked and ashamed. Obviously, there is no need of fighting to overcome a single tyrant, for he is automatically defeated if the country refuses consent to its own enslavement. It's not necessary to deprive the tyrant of anything, but simply give them nothing. There is no need that a country make an effort to do anything for itself, provided it does nothing against itself. It is therefore the inhabitants themselves who permit, or rather bring about, their own subjugation, since by ceasing to submit would put an end to their servitude. So yeah, everybody, we're all slaves, right? So what am I here to do? Am I here to encourage you to take arms and overthrow things? No, Le Boitier wouldn't say that. Just, I'm saying, if you want to come together, we don't like things, we just make our voices known. But see, the problem is The youth, which is our future, I believe the children are our future, right? Well, they are very, very controlled right now, as we saw with this great movement, which, by the way, I think is a great movement. I am not, listen, I know I'm going to take some flack for this. I don't have a gun. I don't believe Jesus says that you love. If an enemy comes, you give him your, you don't go grab an M16. I'm not saying don't do that if you want to do that. I'm just saying, personally, me, I wish that there were less guns in the world. I do, but I'm not going to take away anybody's rights because I don't think that, I think people should be able to do what they want. That's called freedom, as long as they don't take their freedom upon another. Forgetting all that, let's move on. So art, all right, art, symbolism, it plays a huge role in shaping society. It's a form, if you will, of mind control. That's right. It's an advertising, and advertising sells you, okay? So symbolism is a big deal. Now we're talking once again about this place called CERN, okay? Now, once again, I think it's great. I think it's the search for, our beginnings and our ends, whatever. I think that it's wonderful to seek out things because if you knock, the door is open for you. However, what if they're not doing it on the up and up? What if it's some of the stuff that's being done is more like occult practice or occult worship or what you would consider not a good thing to do, kind of like becoming God. Once again, check out my video on that. I'm not saying they are, but there's a lot of stuff that has to do with CERN that makes you question it. And now that they're bringing on this artist, it makes you wonder even more. So let's do a little checklist, shall we? Okay. CERN, their logo, it's 666. Yeah, right? What's that about? I mean, you could have come up with a different logo. But, someone thought about that and did it for a reason. Because symbols, and it's almost like word magic. Whatever, it's same thing with those gloves. Same thing with all around us. Symbols, they have power in witchcraft, that is. In the occult, that is. Another reason why they hired this artist, I'm sure. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just putting pieces together here.
Salutation on all points of the triangle. Respect to the order.
Straight away we're into the images of Crowley from a schoolboy and a youth.
Of Revelation, there is the only temple to Apollyon. CERN was built on the Apollyon temple, and who's Apollyon in the Book of Revelation? It's the angel, the messenger that was given the key to the bottomless pit that opens up the bottomless pit. Which is sort of what they're doing. If you think about it. And there's actually a great picture where they actually have that key. And then you factor into the fact that, just a couple of years ago, the whole world was up in arms because the visiting, scientists or students or whatever put on like a mock human sacrifice. And then you add that with the fact that their mascot, which was a beautiful gift, right, was Shiva, the goddess of destruction and renewal. Remember that great dance they put on, Symmetry, which was about a man opening up another dimension and, the collider going haywire. Next thing you know, it's wrestling with like what seems to be, I don't know, some kind of a ghoulish demon. And then you factor into the equation the Gothard Tunnel, which was, if you know anything about that, it was just like the most crazy you would say, you would think satanic on the outside. You would look at it and you would say, these are people that are worshiping Pan or worshiping Baphomet or worshiping the Antichrist. Because, and the fact that CERN, the collider, was actually featured on their big, jumbotron right before time was stopped and then spun backwards and a dimension was open and spooky spirits came out. That's, the art that was portrayed while the world leaders stood there and applauded. So weird, man. The world that we're living in is so weird. So you start to add all this stuff up and you say, well, maybe there's something to it. So I stumble upon this article about this really cool artist who is now going to be their spring resident.
2. The Order of the Knights of the Holy Grail. 3. The Order of the Illuminati.
So let me read this to you, okay? CERN is the largest particle physics laboratory and home of the most powerful particle accelerator, even though they're making one that's like so much bigger. That's another thing that's crazy, but whatever. The Large Hadron Collider, LHC. Not only is CERN smashing particles together at close to the speed of light, it's also committed to exploring connections and collaborations between artists and scientists. They've been doing this a lot lately in an effort to encourage artistic curiosity and creative perspectives applied to research practices. The Collide International Award is a 3-month residency program. The program runs in collaboration with UK's Foundation of Arts and Creative Technology, FACT, which fully funds a 2-month stay at CERN and an additional month at FACT headquarters in Liverpool. A jury comprised of art and science experts named British artist Suzanne Treister the winner of the International Award. Now, her body of work, it's sort of interesting. Take a look.
Years 2000, last the in taken as mankind, that knowledge of tree, the of fruit, the of out, bite, biggest, the is cybernetics.
Treister's body of work includes Hexen. Yeah, that's right, Hexen, yeah. 2.0, a historical, let me read this to you. Because no, I'm sure they're not into the occult. They're not into the occult at all. But, this is the artist they get. Hexen 2.0. A historical profile instantiated in a deck of tarot cards of post-World War II federal scientific research programs of mass mind control and the counterculture of grassroots resistance. Which is interesting, like March for Our Lives. I knew there was going to be a tie-in somewhere. In 1995, now get this. In 1995, because, we talk about the time travel at CERN a lot. We talked about how, actually scientifically, factually, they have actually sent data back in time. It's possible. And now that we know that gravitational waves exist, that means other dimensions exist. That means we can get into time. So they've probably already been, that's probably what the Mandela effect is about. I've done videos on that. I don't know this for a fact. I'm just an author who's putting the pieces together for all of you. You tell me. So actually in 1995, this is interesting, Suzanne Treister created the fictional alter ego Rosalind Brodsky, a delusional time traveler who believes herself to be working at the Institute of Miltronics and Advanced Time Interventionality, IMATI, in the 21st century. Amati is an independent research institute with the government and corporate clients based in South London. Okay, consisting of drawings and interventions and a film. Yeah, I saw some of the films, but they're not occult at all either. And it's not like Aleister Crowley is, heralded as something of importance in her body of work either.
Straight away we're into the images of Crowley from a schoolboy and a youth.
To all whom it may concern, greetings and health.
You have the ability, when appearing in a photograph, to look out at the viewer, making a lot of people feel quite uncomfortable with images, because they do appear to have the strength to look back.
Let me just read this a little more. Hexen 2039 reveals links between conspiracy theories, occult groups, Chernobyl, witchcraft, the US film industry, British intelligence agencies, Soviet brainwashing, behavioral control experiments of the US Army, and recent practices of its civil affairs and PSYOPs, Psychological Operation Command, in light of alarming new research in contemporary neuroscience. That's the description of her work, which she says is based on fact. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I don't even know what else to say. But to say that I hope you enjoyed this little journey into insanity, and I hope that each and every one of you, like the philosopher La Boette said, I hope you're free. I hope you're not just allowing yourself to be subjugated. I hope that even though that you have constraints, like you have to live by the laws of the land, right? Okay, you have to, which is okay. You can be in the world, but not of the world. That's the important thing. So you could still have freedom within the chains, and that freedom is freedom indeed. And what is that freedom? It's joy. So find that place that I'm always talking about. Find that kingdom within. Find the truth. Seek it no matter what the cost, because it's going to free you. And the best part is, because I've been saying for a while, you're going to start to see corruption be revealed everywhere. And it's like everywhere, even Facebook right now. All of this stuff, corruption everywhere. It's not even getting started yet. The truth is going to be revealed, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. So I hope that you are definitely subscribed to the channel, and I hope you're sharing these videos around with others. And I want to thank you for doing all that you do. Remember, all it takes to make the world darker is to hide your light. So share it around, and just remember to do it in love. And I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.